All right, what's up, guys? Mike here with your Tuesday talks. Listen, we're in the backyard again. I'm going to make this one kind of quick. Nothing too crazy. We got a lot going on. Not a lot to talk about, but we're going to put out a lot of content in the next couple weeks. So Adam finished up the herd again. You guys watched that last podcast. If you watched that last podcast, then you know we did a double. A part A and a part B, because part A we talked about herdigan and part B we talked about golf etiquette. And I want to discuss that today because we are getting some pretty good feedback from that. Let's not say pretty good feedback. We're getting a lot of feedback. Not all good, because we talked about it in podcast episode 30 part B, that a lot of people think that this is like our own little suggestions or like optional etiquette stuff. But, and I didn't talk about this on the podcast, but I kind of relate it to when you're driving on the highway and, the left lane is the passing lane and the right lane is the driving lane. It's like people think that that's an optional rule, is to only get into the left lane when you're passing cars and then you get back over into the right. So we all know that society feels like a lot of people feel like rules don't apply to them. And etiquette is one of those where it's kind of like this gray area where, not all of the etiquette applies all the time. Depending, like we talked about in the podcast, depending on your buddies, depending on like kind of what level of golf that you're playing in and at and stuff like that. But when we read these comments, or I'm the comment reader, I'll be honest. I go back through and I try to like everybody's comments, and I'll comment back on especially some of the funny ones that are really good. But these are not optional things. Like, I'm not saying don't stand in somebody's line because I don't like it. It's because it's rude to everyone. Some people might not say it, or some people might not care as much. But if you, like we talked about it in the podcast, if you're doing it to distract the person you're playing with, it's rude, right? So we all know, just like jingling the coins in your pocket or the tees in your pocket, you're doing it to distract them. You're doing it to be rude. I also want to compare it to, I was in the gas station the other day where there's two cashiers, but there's only one open. So there's a line, and I was like fifth in line. And there was somebody coming over to get behind me. And at that moment, the other register opened up, a cashier clocked in and was like, hey, I could take the next person. And this person that was going to be 6th or 7th in line took that one. And in my mind, I'm like, I just don't get it. I just don't get how some people can be like that. I guess ignorance is bliss, but kind of the same idea, all right? It's etiquette, it's manners, it's common sense. These kind of things that really need to be addressed. I mean, I would love to have world peace and cure hunger and all those things, but if we can just help some golfers, as many golfers as we can, one by one, to enjoy the game, start the game, learn the game, and play the game for the rest of their life, if we can do that through this podcast and through this channel, that would be pretty fun also. Because if some of you don't know, I'm a personal trainer, right? So I have, healthy clients that, they want to stay active and keep moving in their adult life now. And this is a sport that you can play when you get, till the day you die. But some people don't pick it up until they're older. So I have some clients that want to learn this game that we've had conversations with, and they want to learn this game, but they're kind of scared because they don't know if they're going to do it right or do something wrong or whatever it is. Ooh. So if we can help even one person or 2 or 10 or 100 people learn the game, enjoy the game, and play the game, you know, that's something that would be really cool with this channel. So here's the deal. That golf etiquette stuff that we're talking about, again, go ahead and watch episode 30, part B, and we talk about the different levels of golf, right? Now, if you're going out with a couple buddies on a Thursday evening, 9-hole, couple beers round, I don't give a crap what you do. And listen, let me preface this. We were down in Florida in February, and I'm going to try to preface this that I'm not some golf snob. Like, we're not golf snobs. We're talking about kind of the history of the game, right? But dude, we crank music, we crank tunes in the carts. All right, and one dude was carrying around a speaker on his hip every shot that he went to. So we're not like that. We're just talking about when you start playing on certain levels that the etiquette rules change, or they just get a little bit stricter, I guess we would use that word, is if you want to play on a 9-hole drinking Thursday night, do whatever you want, right? But don't act like you can do that same thing when you're playing in some sort of Ryder Cup match with your buddies, when you 12 guys get together and they go down to South Carolina and they're jingling tees in their pocket when a guy's making a putt to try to win a hole that's to win a match for the week or something like that. Different level of golf, different things on the line. And I will tell you that if you're the guy who is acting the same way that you do on a Thursday night 9 drinking as you do on a Ryder Cup down at Kiowa, that where you spent $5,000 for the trip and you guys got a ton of bets going and money on the line, you're probably not going to get invited back. It's certain levels of golf that that deem the severity of the etiquette, I guess. That's all we're trying to talk about, guys. All right, these feel good. Working on hand press, right? So with my instructor, again, we're here, heels coming up, flexing the front knee, but now we're trying to get these hands at impact, even with my front thigh, right? So we're there. So that way we're compressing the ball out instead of up. The loft on the club does the work, okay? You don't have to do it. You don't have to hit the ball up. The club will do that for you. Not only the loft, but the weight in the club will get it in the air. So you don't have to. You should just be hitting out. The loft and, center of gravity of the club will get it up. So these hands, I was always trying to get here. Now we're trying to get here like that. Just a little more compression. Ooh. See, and that's another thing that I need to do, and then I'm trying to teach my kids, is get this feel first before you swing. So my whole pre-shot routine, I'm here, I do this guy just to feel it, then I come back, and then I do that again. So that's one of the big things I'm working on, because I'm a big guy, right? I should be hitting, I'm stronger than Adam. I should be hitting the ball further than him, but I don't, because I don't compress the ball enough. And as I was working on these, Again, one of the tips that we're doing is here, 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 and then hitting balls like that. And leaving the hands after impact here, and this should be a straight line, right? And honest to God, guys, I was hitting a pitching wedge at this range like that. That's probably here to here. I was hitting a compressed pitching wedge 100 yards with a half swing. And when I was hitting my old regular pitching wedge, I mean, again, I couldn't hit it full because I didn't trust it. So like this was my full swing with a pitching wedge. Up in the air, trying to lift it was 100 yards. So literally a compressed pitching wedge here was 100 yards, or a scoopy pitching wedge was 100 yards. Which one you gonna take, right? Because that compressed pitching wedge, and he was showing me, he was like, watch how this hops out on the range. He's like, when it does that hop, that means it's got spin on it. And I'll tell you, my pitching wedge never really spun. Like that just feels so good. So I'm gonna give you guys a Tuesday tip inside a Tuesday talk. Get what your impact position should feel like, right? That's kind of where I wanna be. Hands are way in front of ball, shaft lean, heel is up, flexion to my left knee, and hit balls like this. Don't worry about how far you're hitting it. Don't worry about how far you're taking it back, because I don't want you to kind of reset and go through. Just stay there, right? Stay here and hit balls like that, right? And one of the things that you just need to do is hold here, hold about there, about a yard in front of the ball, and you should be in a straight line with your arm and shaft. And feel what that feels like. That was a little wristy, that's why it got heavy. And when I finished, I was like this. And that's not a straight line. It needs to be like that. Straight line. Right there. I didn't adjust that or nothing. That's how it needed to be. So practice that. That's a Tuesday tip inside a Tuesday talk, guys. But we will be coming out with a Tuesday tip too. So last one. Boom. It was a little high. My finish was high, but felt good. All right, guys. Mike, just the tips.
Just the tips.